What are you at, foodies? Today I got 5 stocking stuffers for the foodie on your Christmas list. I do have links in the description below if you'd like to purchase them. Note that I do make a small commission off the sales of those items. It helps the channel out, so it's greatly appreciated. So let's get into it. The first thing I have on the list is what everyone should have. You, your foodie, everyone should have one of these in their kitchen, is a weigh scale. This is super important in the kitchen. It's great for weighing out items like flour, water, meats, portioning things off, getting that fine detail in the recipes. When I was in cooking school, they taught us to weigh everything, especially in the bake shop. The reason for is you can replicate it much easier than by volume. There's always variances when you scoop out with a measuring cup, depending how hard you scoop, how much you put into it. The amount can differ quite a bit. So I always recommend a scale in the kitchen. Just helps you perfect the recipes you're coming up with. Or if you just want to replicate a recipe like one of mine. I know a lot of you guys don't like when I use grams or weight. It's what I'm used to. I want to get you guys into it. I have been putting up volume measures, but if you can, grab one of these or grab one for someone in your life for Christmas. You can't go wrong with a scale. The second most important thing you can get someone in your life that is a foodie and for Christmas is a thermometer. These things are so important in the kitchen for seeing when meat's ready to eat, if it's safe to eat. It's a safety tool. If you're undercooking chicken, you don't want to get sick. You want to use one of these to make sure you're hitting that right temperature. And the whole method of cooking a steak with your fingers and your thumbs, it's not accurate. Meat's different, hands are different, so judging how well it's done by using the palm of your hand, it'll give you a rough range. If you're trying to hit that perfect medium rare, you're not going to hit it by doing it that way. You're going to need a thermometer. But you definitely want to get one of these thermometers. If you don't have one, grab one, get one for the loved one. They're going to love it if they haven't got one. All right, guys, the next thing is more of a niche thing. Not everyone's going to want this, but if you have a foodie in your family, they're going to want one of these. These are food tweezers. Not the tweezers you use for getting, splinters out. They're actually good for, even if you have a foodie who is a photographer like me, they're really good for getting the fine details of food on a plate. So if you got a couple of herbs that are really hard to handle with your fingers, you can get precision accuracy with these little guys, and highly recommend. I think these are about $20 I paid for these. Really good, really useful. Not just the foodie in your life, but anyone who's a food photographer or looking to do that kind of thing, or a content creator who handles food a lot. These are just so good for the little details. Highly recommend it. Grab one for the foodie in your life. Every time I go to someone's house, there's one item in the kitchen that is never there, or it's there and it's never used, or it's a really bad one. And I use it every single time I pick up a knife, and that would be my steel, or this is a ceramic steel. So this actually doesn't sharpen a knife. So what it does, if you look at a knife underneath a microscope, you'll notice that the blades are kind of serrated. They're little edges like this. And as you use your knife, they bend down and get dull, and that's what causes your knife to get dull. So when you use this steel, what you're doing is you're bringing these little fine edges back up to a point, which allows you to have a nice sharp edge. If your knife is dull, this actually won't work, and you'll need to revert to using a stone. I have a new stone here I just ordered in. I haven't used it yet, but this is also something you can put in. This is a little bonus one. If they have one of these, grab them a little whetstone. Good for bringing an edge back if it's gone to the point of no return. I use these once every 6 months or so, 3 months, depending how much my knife is being used. And it brings the edge back, and this maintains the edge. This is a great item for someone who is cooking a lot and notice their knives are constantly getting dull. This will help extend the life of them a little bit longer before you have to put a new edge. Because every time you cut a new edge onto a knife, you're actually removing a little bit of the knife, and try to avoid that as much as possible. Every single time I use my knife, I give this a few swipes, keeps the edge nice and sharp, extends it a bit longer in between sharpening sessions. Definitely something you should pick up for the foodie in your life. The whetstone was a little of a bonus item, so it's like 6 items. But one other thing any foodie should have in the kitchen is a rasp or a really fine grater. This is key to making those little Parmesan flakes on top of your pasta, or if you want to grate some fresh nutmeg into your recipes, this is the best way to do it. And we all know fresh nutmeg is better than the pre-ground stuff. You want to use fresh. And this will help you do that. This is an excellent stocking stuffer, small. They will love it, especially if they love cooking, and this is something they don't have. They're gonna love you for it. All right, foodies, that concludes it. 5 items, 6 if you count the whetstone, that you can get the foodie in your life. Make sure you give a thumbs up, a subscribe, have a Merry Christmas, and until next time, foodie out.